In this lecture, we do a systematic study of substitution, and based on that, we look at beta reduction in a careful way. So, we a systematic study and formalization of the notion of substitution and fix problems with beta reduction. Okay. The problems that we saw with beta reduction, we have to be careful about it. We have to make the beta reduction more correct in that sense. Okay. So for this, we need to have this notion of free and bound variables. Okay. So the essence of this is in a lambda calculus terms, any variable that occurs, any variable x that occurs in the, so I'll loosely use the word shadow of a fnx arrow of a quantifier. Is a bound variable. Otherwise, it is free. Okay. So let's take an example. In this example, let's look at some function like fnx arrow xy. Okay. So in this example, x is bound but y is free. Okay. Now this is a notion that you might have seen in other contexts also. Like for example, let's take a corresponding expression. So integral 0 to 1, let's say x y dx. Okay. So x is bound and y is free. Okay. You might have seen from logic, like for all x, okay, x is y, let's say phi x y z, some formula like this. In this, x and y are bound, whereas z is free. Okay. This is not a notion which is restricted to just lambda calculus. Okay, programming languages. Okay, so if you look at, let's say, something like val foo equal to foo of x equal to sorry, not val, fun foo of x equal to print x. Here x is free, x is bound, but print is free. Okay. The binding for print comes from the library. Okay, it is not defined at least here. Okay. That's an important idea. So this is a very important notion that you might have already seen about free and bound variables. We can systematically define what free and bound variables are, but this is to give you an idea of what free and bound variables actually are. Okay. So two important rules. First, the value of the expression, value associated with the term depends on the free variables but not on the bound variables. Okay. So for example, let's take this function fnx arrow xy. If you want to find what this function actually means, you need to know what y is. Similarly, if you want to find this integral, you need to know what the value of y is. Okay, so in that sense we can kind of write this as f of y equal to something like this. This term you can write is to be explicit about the free variable. You can say that this term has y as a free variable. Okay. Similarly, here you might write this as an integral I of y. Okay. Here you might write this as a formula psi of z. In mathematics, you might kind of you might define it something like this. Yeah, this is what you might define it as. Okay. So this is clearly, this depends on what you assign to z in this case. The predicate that you see here, it depends only on z. It doesn't depend on x or y. Okay. The second thing is that the bound variables may be replaced by fresh variables. Okay, so the notion of fresh, that means that these are variables which are not anywhere there. Okay, so let's define free variables equal to free variables okay, this is set of variables defined by induction. First, free variable of x is just the set x. Okay. Second condition is the free variables of E1 applied on E2 is the free variables of E1 free variables of E2. Okay. The third is the most interesting one. It is that free variables of some expression which looks like x dot e is the free variables of e, and from this you might remove x, because x, the occurrence of x in E is bound to this lambda. Okay, so in that sense this is how you define free variables. Okay, not only that, we also need to know the bindings. Where do bound variables get bound? Okay, which lambda should it be associated with? So just to illustrate this example, so if you have something like fn x arrow fn x arrow x, okay, the question is, where does this x come from? This x is this x or is it this x? Okay, so the rule is the innermost binding is the strongest. Okay, which means that this is same as fn x arrow. So let me put subscripts just to indicate which is what. Okay, so this is same as fn x arrow fn x1 arrow x1. Okay, so if you look at the subscript, it will be clear where the binding is. The binding of this x that you see here, where the cursor is to this x and not to this x. Okay, so we can now look at substitutions. We just said replace x by m. That is what we said, but that is not what is replace E x equal to m stands for replacing the expression E prime obtained by substituting m for x in for all free occurrences of x in E. Okay, so with this also we can formally define as follows. So what is it? So E, so if you take x and if you do x equal to m, this is nothing but this is same as m. Okay, if you take y and you do x, this is just y, y into x. These are the two rules. Okay. Now what about E1, E2, the term E1, E2, in that you substitute x and this is same as in E1 you substitute x with m, this is one term, and in E2 you substitute x with okay. And the third important property, this is a applicable and abstraction. So let's look at this part, because this is where the free and bound notion comes. One, you substitute, if you take lambda x dot e and you substitute x with m, this is no substitution, because whatever x occurs in E, they are all bound here. So we need only this is same as x dot e, because we only substitute for free occurrence. Okay. And the second rule is if the variable is different. If the variable is different, lambda y dot e is same as lambda y with e substituted with this is if y, these are, recall that beta reduction is nothing but this lambda x dot e on applied on m reduces to e with x m substituted for x for all free occurrence of x. This is the definition of beta reduction. An important side condition is that no free variables of m should be bound in E. Okay, this is the condition. If this condition is not true, then do alpha reduction. That is, change the bound variables of E to fresh variables by lambda u dot m with z, free occurrence of z substituted by u, okay, where u is fresh.